What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Entre Mike back where the Entre is short for entrepreneur. Today we're going to be going over a spot market update and DAT1 load search for Hotshot trucking today. So if you guys are interested in seeing your city and state, make sure you guys drop that down. And if you're brand new, you can save 10% for your first year with DAT1 with the link in the description below. Also, if you guys need a trucking insurance quote, you can get that link in the description as well to get a quote done in 10 minutes. I highly suggest you guys fill out the quote form if you're a new venture or existing business coming up on a renewal. And all right, we can finally get into the video. Let's do it. Okay, we're going to start off by going over the flatbed demand and capacity. I know this may seem a little boring to you guys, right? This is just a heat map for you to kind of see where are loads coming from in the flatbed market, right? Because you guys being a flatbed hot shot, you guys are a flatbed. So the higher the load to truck ratio, of course, the more freight that's going to be in that market, allowing you more access to basically a higher rate per mile. Usually that's how it works. The rate per mile usually follows where the load to truck ratio is the highest, because where there's more supply, less demand is naturally going to be there, leading to higher rates, right? Here's a chart here just so you can see the flatbed load to truck ratio since the beginning of the year. Kind of peaked up here, meaning it wasn't a lot of capacity in the space compared to the amount of freight out there. Now you're seeing it's more competition for whatever reason, because this is kind of like, you could argue, I guess, from March to maybe the August, September. That's kind of like hot shot seasons. The middle of the year is when there's the most amount of projects, best weather year round, especially in the colder places. So it's going to be a lot of freight availability, right? But there are also going to be a lot more carriers probably ramping back up, switching their dry vans into flatbeds if they got multiple trailers, because they know this is where you can make the most amount of money during flatbed season. All right, and now we got the flatbed rates on here. This is basically going to show you guys where the rates are the highest, where the rate per miles are the highest. Like I said, you saw the highest load to truck ratio in the Southeast and South Central right here. I still kept my truck mainly in the Midwest, and I did great. But you can make some pretty good triangles, like I said, going from Southeast, Midwest, South Central back to Southeast. That's kind of how I ran my routes. Doesn't look like too many differences in the spot rates. Spot rates are pretty spot rates and contract rates are pretty steady right now. Now I do want you guys to keep in mind, I mean, there's a little small trick up right here. But I want you guys to keep in mind that this is for 53-foot flatbeds. This isn't for flatbed hot shot 2. Flatbed hot shots are probably within the range of $2 a mile to $2.25 a mile for a full truckload. Of course, you got partial rates at $1.80, $1.70, and so forth. But for the most part, I was running it around $2.20 a mile. That's not to say everybody will have that. It depends on your market. It depends on where you put yourself in the market. Hell, there's some guys saying they still get $3 a mile, and I know guys only getting $1.50 a mile. So take that with a grain of salt. All right, and it's time to get into the searches now. We're going to go ahead and search up Atlanta, Georgia. That's the first search on the page. We're going to start off with the highest rate, I guess. It's already on here. Villa Rica, Georgia to Bend, Oregon. Let's just check out some of the comments. We got 30 feet, 5,200 pounds, roofing machine. Thought I was going to say material. It's probably coming out of Nietzsche High right here. Macon, Georgia to Marana, Arizona, 40 feet, 5,600 pounds. I want you guys to pay attention to how many 40 feet loads are on here too. Okay, this is dedicated load for sure. Thomaston, Georgia to Eastport, New York. 40 feet, 3750. It's on the pounds. It's not that bad of a rate. Let's go ahead and look at the highest rate per mile. The same 270 to go to New York. Of course, you're going to have some tolls. You're going to be going up the Appalachian Mountains, but you're going to be going up 95 at some point. You're going to hit some mountains in West Virginia, PA, a little bit of Virginia. So, 270 a mile isn't that bad, though. It just depends on, like I said, what part of New York you got to go through. Greenville, South Carolina to Sparta, Tennessee. TQL load, 227 a mile. 4 flatbed hot shot, 40 feet, 5,000 pounds. So yeah, rates are pretty much reflecting. Dang, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Basically about $2 a mile, 14 feet, 6,000 pounds. Probably some type of machinery if I had to guess. All right, we might as well start with the highest rate per mile. Lexington, South Carolina is at Gaithersburg, Maryland, 279. It is listed for flatbed, so let's go to flatbed hotshot. Let's see the highest flatbed hotshot. TQL, Greer, South Carolina to Columbus, Ohio. This is for sure a load. Depending on what it is, it might be a high cube container. That would change my mind a little bit, but if it was just regular general freight, 40 feet, 10,000 pounds, 220 in this market to go to Columbus, Ohio, not too shabby, not too bad. So I'll probably end up taking something like that. Let's see, $2 a mile to go from North Carolina to Maine. Unless you lived in the Northeast, I wouldn't end up picking this up, just being honest. 8x8x5 must tarp. So it's 8 feet long and wide, and it's 5 feet tall. So you need probably some 6-foot drop tarps. So that, I guess that's not, yeah, I don't know. Wouldn't want to tarp in this heat though. It is what it is. You got to do what you got to do. Let's just go ahead and go to the highest rate. $2,800 to go from South Carolina to California. No new MCs. Check that out. No tarps. Company name must be on the door. This is for all those guys who are booking loads, but either double brokering by using somebody else's MC numbers and not using their decals, or it's just some sketchy stuff going on in the industry. But I completely understand them, protecting themselves that way. Let's see, $1.08. Let's go to one for $2. Yeah, we already looked at this one. Charlotte to El Paso. Call Corey. Must be tarped on an air ride trailer. So that's a partial rate, but you got to have air ride. So that can get in the way too. Let's look at the next place. Columbus, Ohio. Oh. Got 86 results. Let's just go ahead and start with the highest rate. Going from Williamstown, Kentucky to, Williston, North Dakota. Legal no tarp, PPE. So you got to have your hard hat, vest, boots, etc. Fluent English speaker, 40-foot hotshot only. These comments, I'm glad that they're being very specific, but it's just kind of letting you know, where the industry is going towards. So Springfield, Ohio to Chandler, Arizona. No comments. Flatbed or step deck. So hotshot may or may not be able to pick that up. Let's see, 35 feet, 2,100 pounds. Ethan just got contact information in there. Going to Minnesota. Let's see what else we got. Highest rate per mile. We got 288 from West Virginia to North Carolina. This is for sure something I'd pick up to get the heck out of West Virginia. Let's look at this one. Flatbed hotshot. 40 feet, 1,900 pounds. Very, very, no deadhead and very light. For sure not 40 feet. Probably 10 feet, but you know how that goes. Stowe, Ohio to Webster, New York. Bundle of steel. I love when they put the actual commodity in the comments. Usually you got to call and just say, hey, what is it? What is it that you want me to throw on my truck? But steel is always very easy to, transport. Usually you're going to have to tarp steel though, 9 times out of 10. So depends on if it's coming from like a manufacturer or going straight to, if it's raw material or it's going to the consumer. So usually raw material, they don't care for anything. So we got one for Dallas, and I've seen other few places too. I don't want this video to be too long. I realize I kind of went over on time a little bit for what I want these videos to be, but I'll do a couple more so we can get, some good results. But if you guys want to see yours on the next one, drop the comment down. This is a 4-drop on a flatbed, so we're not going to tease you guys with that one. Let's go to the flatbed hotshot. I'm looking at the equipment. Ramps. So you need a ramps. We're going from DePort, Texas to Coleman, Texas, 1960 on the weight. And it just says ramp. So it's going to be some type of, might be a golf cart. Who knows? It could be a freaking, I don't know, ATV. 2,000 pounds. It could be a Honda Accord. Who knows? 40 feet, 40-foot container. Let's see. Dallas to Tulsa, 215 a mile. Are we on the highest rate per mile? Or yeah, we're on the highest rate per mile. Going to Memphis. No comments. 208 a mile. No, we got to be on highest rate. I'm tripping. Well, no, that was highest rate per mile. Yeah. See what the highest rate is coming out. Let's see. 2,500 to go to New Jersey. Is that TQL? Yep. Flatbed Hotshot with tarps. Always good to see some TQL lows on here for my guys who are within those first 30 days. These are guys who will take that risk on you being brand new. Just know wiggle room on the rates will you in your first 30 days, don't expect too much of it. You also might have to expect to sit a day or two just because of the amount of people who will work with you in the first 30 days. Yeah, it's a pretty tough industry right now. Yeah, for sure. We are gonna end this video off with that last search. I want you guys to do me a favor and comment down. What are your expectations on how much you expect to make a week as a new hotshot trucker in 2025? I also want you guys, if you could, of course, drop your city and state and drop down some video ideas. I'm thinking about doing like some comparisons of different equipment types, such as like flatbed versus flatbed hotshot, or flatbed hotshot versus 26-foot box truck versus cargo van, just to kind of give you guys some more insights on what kind of money you should be looking to expect to make in this type of market due to the competition, due to the seasonality, due to whichever type of equipment you actually end up getting and how big it is. Because I think that can kind of give you guys more insights on what are the requirements to actually be profitable, learning you guys' cost per mile, etc. Right? But it's usually easier for me to kind of dictate what kind of content I'm gonna make based on your comments. So if you guys don't comment anything down, I don't know what you need help with or what you want to figure out. I got a few ideas, but it would really help if you guys could comment down on what you would want to see the most. That way I can make better content for you guys watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.